You've done the right thing. You've insulated your ceiling. You've insulated your underfloor. But you're still cold. Best you finish the job. And to match your walls.
All right, we're now going to take a specific look at an issue I think is very important to the country, but not particularly sexy. It's not about Matariki. It's not a crime story. It's simply a story of our journey back towards some sort of economic stability and I don't know, some sort of economic growth in this country. Shane Jones, one of the New Zealand First Ministers, and I think the Prime Minister himself, many people have said economic growth is going to be the key to fixing a lot of the so-called crises in our country. And one of the things this government has identified is the fact we have a number of natural resources in New Zealand that have been locked up for various reasons for a long time. And indeed, we're a very small place. Getting kit down here to extract those resources means you've got to do it carefully and you've got to have a good plan. We're about to hear and meet someone from a company that is trying to be part of that solution. It's called Trans-Tasman Resources. And it has been working for over a decade to try and undertake a relatively simple iron sands mining operation in the South Taranaki Bight. I've read the history of this story and my God, it makes me angry. And we're joined now from Trans-Tasman Resources by Alan Eggers on video link. Alan, welcome to the platform. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sean, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to present our case.
All right. Look, firstly, Trans-Tasman Resources, where's the company domiciled? Where's it based? How big it is? What else does it do?
It's a single-purpose company. It's a New Zealand registered and managed company. We have been developing this project since 2008 and to date spent over 85 million on discovery, resource definition, and the engineering solution, providing the engineering solution to extract these valuable minerals whilst having high regard for our environmental impact and how we'll manage that.
All right. Is it a privately held company or are you listed on the stock exchange?
No, we're listed on the Australian Stock Exchange in a company called Manuka Resources. And The reason for that is to give us liquidity to fund our way through this extended permitting process.
Okay. That's a lot of money to put in. In fact, I'm looking back at the history. Look, that's the other thing I just want to get as a base thing. What do you use iron sands for? What's the demand? What do you get out of iron sands, and in what industries is that used?
Yeah, iron sands have been produced in New Zealand for many years, over 50 years. And as I'm sure your listeners are aware, they're the primary feed to the Glenbrook steel mill up in Auckland. And we've been exporting them from Waipipi and Taharoa for about the last 40-odd years to steel mills in China mostly. So primarily, titanomagnetite is a feed for making steel in a blast furnace. However, our iron sands are a little different and they contain critical minerals vanadium and titanium. And while steel is, used throughout our economy, after all, Sean, we live in a metals age. We're not in the Stone Age, we're in the metals age. And everything that we do is dependent on steel. However, refined alloys and materials are required to produce the finer products, if you like, in terms of vanadium for rebar, reinforcing steel and steel alloys, but also now for large-scale utility scale batteries for storage of renewable energies.
Right.
And titanium, of course, is used everywhere in spacecraft, aircraft, paints, paper, plastics, white goods, alloys.
So this is useful stuff, right? This is you're not making nukes out of it. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How much projected if this were to work? How much you say you're sending this stuff off overseas? How many New Zealand jobs would your operation create? How much economic activity?
Oh, this is a transformative project for not only the Taranaki-Wanganui regions, but for New Zealand. Look, we'll generate about 1,100 jobs in the Taranaki region. We'll have a head office in New Plymouth with 35, 40 people in it. But more importantly, we'll have about 270 operational staff offshore on our vessels producing the concentrates that we export. It will boost Taranaki's GDP by 222 million.
Okay, and what slice of this does the New Zealand taxpayer get by way of royalties, mineral royalties?
It'll generate, and when we're in full production and after payback, we'll generate around about 55 million a year in royalties to the New Zealand government and around about 135 million in corporate taxes. So that's a meaningful revenue for the New Zealand government.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, it's amazing for me to read this. You actually got Environmental Planning Authority approval back in 2017, didn't you? You jumped through all the hoops and you got the tick.
We did, and we didn't celebrate too hard, but we were very pleased to get through that, and the EPA approved a very comprehensive set of operational plans and conditions for us to undertake this project, and it was demonstrated to the EPA at the time that, in fact, there's no material harm to
environmental
the
impact.
Yeah, that's right. Very low.
Okay, well, I imagine you stir up a bit of mud underneath the ground when you're sucking up all this iron sand, don't you?
Oh, you do. That's true. But where we are, it's very high-grade iron sands and very little silt. And silt's the thing that causes a plume in the ocean.
Yeah.
And we can't mine silt. There's no money in silt, as there's no money in us mining rocky reefs and things that our opponents claim we're going to do.
Okay.
We're just interested in the high-grade iron sands, and it produces a very low-level plume, if at all, and only occasionally under certain circumstances.
All right. So who stopped? Once you got the approval, you won all those arguments. Who stopped you in 2017? What happened?
Well, our opponents took it to the courts.
Well, let's identify who are your opponents.
Oh, we've got a few, and they're really, I guess, what I would describe as ideological, environmental, and political activists, and people such as Greenpeace and Ms. Leah Panapa from.
How's she tied up with it?
Well, it's nearby there, Mana Whenua, and we respect that. But she's decided that it's a project that she doesn't want to see go ahead. She thinks there's too many risks.
Have you offered them money to get her on side? Or did they ask for money?
Oh, no, we wouldn't go there. What we did do in the early days...
Maybe you should have.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But in the early days, she was quite positive, and they were interested in investing in the project. Why they changed their tune, you'll have to ask Ms. Leah Panapa, not me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they've been strident opponents. They've spread a lot of misinformation, fear and doubt, and more importantly, Sean, uncertainty into decision makers' minds, including judges. However, we did get the court process. And the court...
So you went back at 2017, you went back to fight against Greenpeace and Ms. Leah Panapa and the local iwi.
Correct.
But now you've got this wonderful thing called the Fast Track Bill, which means you can get through all this and get this done. And it would seem to me you're a sitter because you've done all the hard work. You've been through 2 court cases. You've done the economic impact. You should be getting the tick straight away, shouldn't you?
Well, we would hope so, and I like your optimism. But what I would say, the fast track process changes the emphasis, and it puts the emphasis back on national benefits, regional and national benefits, and economic outcomes. However, it is not a shortcut to sidestep environmental compliance, and we must abide by the underlying EEZ Act, and the EPA has just been asked for a report on that for our application, and that has considerable environmental compliance guidelines embedded within it, which we've still got to meet those hurdles.
So at the moment you have the fast track application in, right?
Yes.
What expectation have you been given by government as to a time frame for getting that approved?
You've done the right thing. You've insulated your ceiling. You've insulated your underfloor. But you're still cold. Best you finish the job. And to match your walls.